What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back, men of prestige, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the platform. I'm excited because I have a lot that I want to talk about today. We have some reactions, we have lots of videos, short clips, fair use to react to today. Shout outs to all the gentlemen, men of prestige, ladies. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you as always. I'm sorry that I missed Monday, but we're back as long as the show continues, right? Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Ola. I'm the host here, Man of Prestige. And please do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe, all of that. All of that. Like all that nice stuff, right? Because again, the conversation must continue. We're having a conversation. And it's not going to stop today. It didn't start today, but we have a big conversation going on. The gender war is real. I'm sorry. No matter how much we cap, it's obvious, it's everywhere. And gentlemen, we are the leaders of this society. We have work to do, and we're going to do that work. Now, ladies, you can help us, okay? You can help us with understanding, advocating for us. That's all nice, okay? But please, by all means, let's pay attention to the society. Let's pay attention to how things have been. Let's pay attention to how we've been socialized. Let's pay attention to emotional intelligence. Let's pay attention, excuse me, to the results that we're getting. Because the result that we're getting is the closest thing to truth. Not what we say, not what we think is truth, not the way you're being raised, none of that, right? The result you're creating is the closest thing to truth. Only time will tell. Again, not the result you're creating in any one particular moment in time, but again, the results that you're consistently creating, either by way of what you're attracting in men or women, or wherever you're attracting in your personal career, in your lifestyle, emotionally, all of those things, spiritually, right? All of that. So, with that being said, we have a great conversation to have today. We're going to talk about Kevin Samuels, RIP, rest in power to Kevin Samuels. We're also going to talk about, we're going to react to some videos from Lapeef Network. We're going to react to some videos from the Fox Soul with, what's her name? Vivica Fox, Claudia Jordan, Selena Johnson, and what's the Lisa Ray? That's the fourth person. And we have a lot to cover today. The main topic today is respect, I guess, but also we're going to face reality, right? I guarantee you, this is the only platform that you come to that you will hear the reality. Other platforms, you will hear people's versions of reality. I have my own version of reality too, and you're probably going to hear that here as well. But I try to focus on the actual reality. What's reality? Result. The consistent results that you're creating is the reality. And if you're in denial about that, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to shoot yourself on the legs. If you swim against the trend of the ocean, you're going to shoot yourself on the legs. What's the ocean? The feminine energy, right? Yeah, I know. The same old feminine energy is actually the ocean. And when you swim against it, instead of as opposed to leveraging it to create the results you're looking for, you're going to hurt yourself. Gentlemen, we need your full masculine frame. We need you. We need you. We don't need you losing yourself in this, right? And we're going to have a very solid conversation today. All right. Now, today again, rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. Funny enough, I still have this here. Rest in peace to him. We're also going to talk about Tariq Nasheed. He had some interesting things to say. Um, yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think I may just leave that there for the day. Just you know, I wasn't a big fan of Kevin Samuel. I just wasn't. Okay, for various reasons that you're going to hear today. At the same time, I respect a lot of things that he had to say. I respect him as a person. But as far as being a fan, as a fanboy, as in like follow every single content, I wasn't. I just wasn't. Okay. I don't think I could relate with a lot of the rhetorics. But it's kind of weird. I want you to stay tuned. Don't judge. Okay. Don't prejudge anything right now yet. Okay. I have very, very strong opinion for you today, especially you gentlemen. He had very, very strong opinion for you as well. And all of that was missed in the shuffle. You missed all of the most important messages that Kevin Samuel had to share with gentlemen, with men in general. Okay, you missed it completely. You're pushing the wrong things. As a matter of fact, you continued after he passed away, and you're continuing the stupid rhetorics. Okay, you're continuing to push the viral moments, the most negative. You may not know you're doing that, but you're doing it directly or indirectly, right? And I'm going to point all of that out today. Okay, so without any further ado, just understand this, okay? If you don't pay attention to these things, um, reality will kick you in the butt. You can avoid reality all you want, but you cannot avoid the consequences of avoiding reality, especially you men, because this world is cruel. Actually, I used to say this word is vicious, but the new word is cruel. Guess where I got that from? From listening to the most important video that Kevin Samuels actually put out ever. The most important video. You thought it was the average at best, but it wasn't. It just wasn't, right? But we're gonna point all that out today. Without any further ado, I think we should just go ahead and get started. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right, welcome back. Let's get into it.
A lot of Oxtail and Jollof Twitter is celebrating too, by the way. You don't miss that. Look at some of the people who are celebrating. Look at some of these foreign flags. I don't want y'all to miss that part of the game either. They hate to be called out, but they like to do little shit, and they try to attack us by proxy. They'll use one foundation of Black American as a proxy for all of us. I don't want y'all to miss that part of the game either. Look at some of these foreign flags that's doing a lot of the grease throwing. All right, let me get some more people.
I completely missed all the foreign flags. Maybe somebody can share with me. You can follow me, by the way, in Man of Prestige. I think it ends with the underscore on Twitter, and share that with me over there, or just share with me on my IG iTalksB if you have that anywhere. But again, as I wouldn't say as usual because sometimes it makes sense. Tariq Nasheed is the one talking here. This was literally less than 24 hours after the news went out that after the rumor started spreading that Kevin Samuel passed away, right? And then he released this video. And basically, in this video, he's suggesting that the non-FBAs are the one are part of the people celebrating Kevin Samuels. I don't know. Like it's kind of interesting how different echo chambers are created all over YouTube, right? And just today, I was watching somebody literally saying that. Anyway, leave that alone. Let me play this video one more time. I don't know what jollof has to do with this. I really don't get it. Okay, for those of you that are not familiar with us Africans, we have one of our favorite dishes ever is jollof, especially Nigerian jollof. It's the best thing. Don't argue with me. Argue with your destiny. Jollof, Nigerian jollof is the best. Okay, Ghanaian jollof is trash. Every other jollof out there is trash. Nigerian jollof is the best. So it's just food. Okay. Now I don't know what that has to do with what we're talking about, but let's play that clip again. This is what Tariq Nasheed has to say about Kevin Samuels passing away. And I'm completely lost. Maybe you can explain something to me. I'm just here asking questions, and I'm just, we're just having a conversation. A very important conversation at that, right? Okay, now there are some other videos out there that I'll play some other clips for you. Let's play this first.
Be clear, a lot of Oxtail and Jollof Twitter is celebrating
and
too.
Jollof. He said, and Jollof Twitter. Okay, so he's talking about people that eat Jollof, but they're on Twitter. All right.
You don't miss that. Look at some of the people who are celebrating. Look at some of these foreign flags. I don't want y'all to miss that part of the game either. They hate to be called out, but they like to do little shit, and they try to attack us by proxy. They'll
try to attack us by proxy. What does proxy mean? I guess that's some kind of like remotely, right? So anytime somebody is being called out for something, even if the person just passed away, what is it? Africans, non FBAs in general, Chinese people, they look for opportunities. Let me make sure that you guys can hear me, by the way. I think you can. All right, yes, yes. Right? What is that? Like anybody that's not FBA tends to use to attack? I'm confused. Now, where I'm from, right? I know I was raised, I've seen that all group of people around the world attack each other. It's just what it is, including the genders. I mean, that's the conversation we're having, right? Like everyone is always looking for a way to point finger. Now, here's the issue here that we're going to talk about today a lot. Okay. Every time you're pointing a finger, I know that sounds kumbaya and cliche as hell. It's always four fingers pointing at you. Okay. At least three. Right? You point the finger, one is pointing up in the sky, and the three is pointing right back at you. This is real in real life. This is not just some cliche talk. It's real. Here's why. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It takes a certain amount of energy to be pointing fingers. Blame game, right? The shaming game. I've heard people say we need shaming coming back to our society. Sadly, the problem with that is that I get what you're saying. I get it. I completely get what you're saying. You're looking to call people to order. You're looking to hold people accountable, right? But then usually from what I've seen on the internet, you're just shaming. Okay. The other day I was having a conversation with another gentleman, and basically I was asking him what was wrong with patriarchy. I wanted him to, I was policing his talking, by the way, right? What was wrong with patriarchy? And he goes, men are just cowards. I was like, okay, I get that. This is a man talking, okay? This is just the kind of man we have today. The words are a lot more louder than our actions. I said, what was wrong? Like, this wasn't a rhetorical question. This wasn't a tricky or condescending question. I honestly wanted to see if I could put it into better words. Because again, when you start to hear certain rhetorics, right, it's interpreted as something else entirely, something usually toxic on the other end, right? And I said, what was wrong with patriarchy? Because he was basically fighting that he lost patriarchy, is here to stay. Nothing like patriarchy is everything in the world. It's basically answer all solution, right? And I said, okay, now we're having this conversation because quote unquote, there's a group of men online yelling at the top of their lungs, thinking feminism is taking over patriarchy. I get that. To a large extent, I would agree with you, case by case. But I'm asking you, what was so wrong with patriarchy? If it was so good, how come some random isms like feminism, right, was able to be attempting to take over? That's the question I was asking him. And he goes in, nah, men are just being cowards these days. Men are just being cowards. Like, all I was trying to get him to do is if he can try a little bit to avoid the shaming language so we can actually get to a solution. He couldn't. He didn't get it. Like, honestly, and you know how these conversations go, they never really end. We're going to talk about that as well, right? They never end because they don't get to a solution. It's like people enjoy the toxic vibes of just argument for no reason, right? And they don't really care about solution, right? And that's what I am seeing. The shaming language, the blame game, condemnation, judgment. This energy takes a certain amount of energy to point fingers at other group of people. It's just that much energy away from working on yourself. You get the gist? It's not about me telling you not to shame people. Like honestly, I could care less to a large extent too, right? But if you're having a conversation with me, I'm forced to kind of tell you, like, listen, you're putting a lot of energy into blaming and shaming. That's just that much energy that you're taking away from working on yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're going to attract who you are. I know that sounds horrible and terrible and not so fair, right? But it's the reality. Gentlemen, that's the reality. You're going to, especially if we're seeing this as a result on a consistent basis, you're attracting who you are. We're not talking about worst case scenario where it was just a terrible situation that happened to you. We're not talking about a situation where you're a sick person, you're in the emergency room, or you're in the ICU somewhere. That's not what I'm talking about. There are some unfortunate things in life. I'm talking about when you're interacting with me. You have two arms, you have two legs, right? You can speak clear, articulate yourself eloquently, but nonetheless, you're creating terrible results in your relationships. That's what I am talking about, right? And your form of solution is to point fingers. If you're pointing fingers, I get it. You want to do it your own way. You don't want me to police how you talk. However, you're hearing me right now. You're hearing me, right? Shaming, blaming, sign language, insulting other people, guilt tripping, right? The need to be right consumes a certain amount of energy. You have limited energy flowing through you at any point. You only have so much energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, but it's flowing away from you. The more you're putting so much energy in unproductive activities. Like again, for you, it's not productive. Shaming, blaming, condemnation, judgment, right? Guilt tripping, all this kind of energy, right? This thing is taking so much energy away from working on yourself, building your empire, building your legacy, right? It's so much energy that you're wasting on those kind of activity. And I just wanted to point that out, right? And that's exactly what Tariq is doing here. Now, not for himself personally, but for his followers that are following him blindly, right? Because at the end of the day, he recorded, he's putting out content. There's only a certain amount of thousands of people that watch those content per time. That's money going in his pocket. So for him personally, it's not a big deal, at least not right now, right? But I just wanted to point that out really quickly, all right? Let's move on right now to the next segment. We've got more to cover today. We've got more, trust me. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a three times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right.
Did a lot of good things with the way he marketed himself, and there's some people who disagreed with some.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor really quickly. Hit that like button. Thank you. All right. I know it's only half of you, one or two people watching, but just do me a favor. You're watching me live, please hit that like button. Now, if you're watching a rebroadcast, it's very, very important that you hit that like button, turn on the notifications, okay? Do everything you can do if you're enjoying the conversations I'm having here. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Let's continue.
Samuels, he did a lot of good things with the way he marketed himself, and there's some people who disagreed with some of his ideologies, and I get on that in a minute. But my man was a marketing genius. You got to pop your collar to that. Some people had issues with him. Kevin Samuels always showed me respect. Me and him, we never had any bones. I've always given him props. He's always shown me respect. So we were very cool in that regard. But what's interesting now that the news of our brother passing, you have a lot of people from Nissan Altima Twitter calling themselves celebrating. You have Bucci Cat Matters.
All right. So again, here we go with this guy, Tariq Nasheed. He's talking about the passing of Kevin Samuels. All right. So the first thing he said is that Kevin Samuel is a marketing genius, 100%. As a matter of fact, there was a conversation that was going on like within 24, 48 hours after his passing. Okay. By the way, those of you that took the last few days to let me just leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. Let's just continue the conversation. He started a great conversation. We're gonna continue, right? He's talking about that he's a marketing genius, 100% accurate, right? Now, here's the thing. I wanted to point this out, right? A lot of people are busy giving uh they're giving KS the wrong credit. Okay. They're giving him the wrong credit. Okay. Now, something that you people will continue to understand is that what you focus on expands. Okay. What you focus on expands. You can practice that. It's a law of attraction, by the way, from the book Secrets and the movie Secrets, right? It's true. Okay. It's just true. You can look at it as a wound. If you have a wound, right? If you focus too much energy on it outside of, treating it, putting what do you call it, a band-aid over it, right? So it can heal. If you start putting stuff through it and you focus on it, it will tend to expand, right? And you won't get healing as fast as you need, right? Because you're focused on negative. Oh, by the way, the same thing is applicable for positive. Anything positive, right? When you focus on it, it tends to expand. And it does so in profound, weird, little twisted ways. Like what I'm talking about is very, very deep, right? And if you look around life, you look around you, every time you say, I don't want something, that something, if it's negative, will expand, even though your intentions is you don't want it. The same thing with positive. As opposed to saying, I don't want something negative, it's better for you to put all your energy in, I don't want, to put your energy in, I don't want something positive. Even though that statement is kind of counterintuitive, right? Actually, that something positive will now expand. Why? Because the mind is not capable of focusing on, I don't know what you call it, the words like don't, all the little minority words in the sentence. The mind focuses on the subject, right? Which is the something. If it's positive, it expands. If it's negative, it expands. You see the gist right here? So it's very important that we understand that. Now, a lot of you are giving indirectly, I know that's not your intentions, but because you're fighting the people that were celebrating his passing, the idea that you're fighting them and you're so angry with them, you're basically expanding that part of his legacy. It's your fault. It's your fault. Anytime you find yourself complaining in life, when that thing continues to expand, it's still your fault. That's if I have to use the word fault. I don't even like the word fault because the word fault can get you in a place where you're now resenting and you're now defensive. You think I'm attacking you. But the point I'm saying there is that you actually have the power to focus on something else, right? What is it that you like the most about anything? Focus on it and it expands. You get it? It expands. But the fact that you're focusing on the negative makes me want to say everyone that's doing what they're doing all right. Because at the end of the day, everyone has the right to be right, including you. But I'm not talking about being right. That's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about the results you're creating, right? Never mind if the result you're creating is right or wrong. That's another conversation, right? But the result you're creating, if it's right, you're responsible for it. The result you're creating, if it's wrong, you're responsible for it. Okay. So while everyone was focused on trying to fight for him, the king cares who passed away, right? I'm like, give the man the credit he truly deserved. It was a genius marketer. I agree with Tariq Nasheed 100%. He knew how to start a provocative conversation. See, I could see all the way through him. And if you seen him on other platforms, you've seen him conduct himself. He put on a show, and a lot of people were not able to detect that, including you. You thought this was just a religion. He was just telling the truth. And the fact, listen, if it was the truth, time will tell. Now, that's the fact. Okay? The results that we're creating in society will tell. Listen, we have so many people like that honestly, they came through while they were here, they were not appreciated. But once they were gone, decades after they were gone, they were being appreciated because of the damages. You're going to have to wait like the rest of us. You, yes, you that you're so agitated and you want to defend him, right? You're just going to have to wait. For now, you're capping big time. You're full of shit like the rest of us. You're just going to have to wait if it's the truth or not. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that's constant is change. And the only thing all of this tells me is that you're not comfortable with change. You're just not comfortable with change. Okay? Women have changed, right? Now, how you're going to interact with them will have to change. You don't get to say this is truth and fact, so I don't have to change. No, it's crap. You are clearly changing because you can't even control yourself and your emotions in public. We're still gonna. Kevin is actually gonna help me talk to you about that in a little bit. Hopefully, we have enough time. Okay. So we're not having the conversation we're supposed to be having. Instead, you're worried about the people that are celebrating the passing away of Kevin Samuel. You're worried about them. You don't get to be worried about those people. Those people, that should have been your expectations. Your expectations are unrealistic of human beings. You're putting yourself on a pedestal and you're putting other people on a pedestal. You're projecting big time. However way people receive people when they were alive, that's what they're going to remember. That's just the reality. Gentlemen, I have to keep calling you out and pointing you back to reality. The result we've created is the reality. If you want it to change, that's going to be a process. You're not going to bark your way into instant change. That's not how this shit works. It doesn't work like that. All right, it just doesn't work like that. Let's move on to the next segment. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
If you're not getting the outcomes you want. And a lot of times guys don't want to hear that truth. We just don't. If I come on here talking about, female nature, such and so forth, and if I would start bashing women or talking noise, oh man, the likes and everything will go through the roof. But when you start talking to men saying, guys, cheap is some of the most expensive stuff out there. You got to do better with your image. You need to get in the gym or start working out. Check out your nutrition, drink more water, think about what you're wearing, put a little thought into it, and stop acting like clothes and your image is just this disposable thing that no one's supposed to care about, or that you're special and the rules don't apply to you. Guys, a lot of guys don't want to hear that because it goes counter to what they believe. And they'll get in the comment section asking questions when they're really not looking for answers. I'm making this video for the guys who are looking for answers.
Me too. I'm making these videos for the people that are looking for answers, people that are looking for solutions. Okay. We know exactly what to do if we want to go viral. Okay. All we have to do is speak to your pain in a way that you can relate with, right? In a way that you can wallow in it. Misery loves company, right? If you want to go viral, we know exactly what to do. We could say some of the most provocative thing, right? And you start getting the likes up, and then the likes obviously is a signal to the algorithms, and then everything start going viral. And then we invite more people that can only relate with toxic rhetorics, right? It happens on both ends. It happens on the sides of the women. It happens on the side of the men. Yes, it does, right? Now, this video is the most important video that Kevin Samuels ever made. Okay, it was made 4 years ago, before he went viral. Okay, before he became what you know today, or what you knew as of last week as Kevin Samuels, right? This was the most important video ever, and most men that are watching his channel have never seen this video. Okay, they've never seen this video, and that's sad. Okay, but if I have time today, I'm going to point out some of the most important lessons that he pushed out of this video, right? The most important video that Kevin made was not the video where he was barking at women or checking the women, or quote unquote holding women accountable. In fact, those videos will become something that will go down for a while, at least for a while, as negative towards this legacy, right? And you're helping that. The more you push against what I just said, the more you're helping that. Because remember, what you focus on expands. If you think what I just said is negative, you focus on it, it expands, okay? This video that I'm looking at right now is what you should go find if you want to watch this video and listen to that video It's 22 minutes. You need to listen to it completely. Okay. And then you can probably get the most important part of his message. Okay. Now, I'm gonna play it again. Okay. I'm gonna play this video and then we're gonna dissect it one after the other. Now, some people took this clip and tried to turn it to he intentionally was trying to just go viral. I don't think so. I think he was being authentic in this video. I think he was honestly trying to help a bunch of men that just weren't willing to listen. I've encountered them on panels. Okay, I've encountered them in clubhouse. Men don't listen. Women don't lie. Wait. Some of them are gonna get triggered. They're gonna call me panderson in a second. Wait. Women don't lie. Men don't listen. What I just said, you have to factor in emotional intelligence, not the physical words that we're talking right now. I saying you don't listen. You're not capable. Majority of men are not capable of listening emotionally to another human being, not just women, just to another human being, period. They end up saying things like nobody's fact is truth because they think everything ends in the words. You're full of it. Okay, there's a lot of other forms of communication. In fact, majority of forms of communications are not verbal. That's the least of them. Okay, the rest of it is body language, the tone of my voice right now, right, and the way I carry my face, the way I position my hands, my gestures, are all forms of communications. Okay, and if you think just your words is what makes up truth, you're fooling yourself because your results are being created from everything else, especially emotions. Okay, the results you have right now today in your life are being created from emotions. And that's the reality, not what you say. What you say is not reality. I don't care if it's factual by way of textbooks, it could be factual by way of just spelling out the words. But the reality, right, is the result you've created. If you're a divorcee, that's your reality. If you tend to want to listen to people who are divorced as your marriage advice, that's your reality. There's a reason why you're gravitating towards that. And it has everything to do with your feelings and your emotions. And that's the reality. Okay? And you can avoid reality all you want, but you cannot avoid the consequences of avoiding reality, the results. Right? Gentlemen, we need to focus on the results we are creating. Okay? We need to be reverse. And if you want to be as logic as you claim you want to be, you have to be reverse engineering from the result you're creating. And you have to factor in the biggest variable of everything. That's emotions. You can't do anything outside of that. Okay? So I'm going to play this video one more time.
If you're not getting the outcomes you want.
The outcome. If you're not getting the outcome that you want, the results, I call them results. Maybe I'll start calling it outcome because obviously he was able to get to a lot of people, right? The way he talks, right? But results, outcome, results, outcome. Your outcome is the reality. Okay? You don't get to argue. You can argue with me here, but you can't argue with your outcome.
And a lot of times guys don't want to hear that truth. We just don't. You know, if I come on here talking about, you know, female
it said we just don't. Even though he said we just don't. Men are more so in their emotions more than ever before. They will hear condescension because they don't want to hear the truth. That's the reality, and I'm aware of it. And we're going to figure this out, gentlemen. What's up, J Bones?
Nature, such and so forth. And if I would start bashing women or talking noise, oh man, the likes and everything will go through the roof.
He was stating facts. If I start bashing women here right now, there's a lot more people that will flock to this place. But I'm not going to do that. Now, he had his reason why he did what he did. He was probably authentically trying to check a person who was entitled as shit, right? But then it went viral. But with YouTube, wherever it's going viral, you tend to, if you want it to keep growing, you have to keep doing it. You know, that is business for him. But some of you don't realize that it was business for him. Some of you never really figured that out. You take it so personally. Right?
But when you start talking to men saying, guys, you know, cheap is some of the most expensive stuff out there. You got to do better with
cheap. The shortcuts are the most expensive stuff out there in your life. If you're looking for quick results and you call it, let's just speak the fact, I'm calling a spade what it is. You're looking for quick answers. You're looking to avoid the process. An average woman needs to go through the process before they get to the solution. For us men, we can see the solution. When we're too much in a hurry, you take her to the solution faster, she resents you. When she resents you, you're going to have blue balls tonight. That's the result you created. That's the reality. And the more you bark at her because of that, the worse it gets. You get that? Okay, so we're going to talk a lot about this kind of stuff.
Your image. You need to get in the gym or start working out. You know, check out your nutrition, drink more water.
No, some of you, he's right. But some of you think it ends there. You think it's just the physical stuff, get in the gym, eat right, and all this kind of stuff. But you have to translate the same things to emotions. You have to. Just because you work out in the gym and you're good looking doesn't mean you're going to be able to retain women. Sadly, Kevin is one of those examples. Okay? I said that long time ago. So not just now that he's passed away, right? He's one of those examples. Everything ends in pragmatic assessments. No, the biggest variable of all of this is emotions. The same thing is applicable.
Think about what you're wearing. Put a little thought into it and stop acting like clothes.
Put a little thought into what you're about to say. He's talking about image physically. But your image is also what you say out of your mouth. See, some of you did not like the response that his passing got over the last week. But unfortunately, part of his brand is those viral videos. But that was the cost. We're going to talk about cost and value in a second here. From his own mouth, okay? That's just the cost. If what he was saying was actually truth and fact, and it was needed, and it was good for the healing of African and Black people, we're going to find out. Time will tell, okay? But not yet, because it's nasty, because clearly we have a bunch of women celebrating a person's passing. That's terrible. And then we have a bunch of men overreacting to it. Even worse, because you are the leader in this society.
And your image is just this disposable thing that no one's supposed to care about, or that you're special.
He's talking about image. What you say becomes your image. What you are saying out of your mouth on a consistent basis, and you call it truth and facts, and it's just brutal honesty. If people focus on the brutality of what you're saying, even if it's honesty, that will become your image. Do you understand that? And you don't get to cry about it. Okay? The more you cry about it, the worse it gets for you. Because we're human beings, we're emotional beings, and that's just how it works. That's just the reality. You get it? Is there a solution to it? Yes. Emotional intelligence. You learn how to influence. Okay, there's a whole book on it, How to Win and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Okay, it's not by quote unquote speaking brutal honesty. You just want to be brutal. You just want to be brutal. You're just trying to satisfy yourself. That's just your ego. All right.
And the rules don't apply to you. Guys, a lot of guys don't want to hear that because it goes counter to what they believe. And you know, they'll get in the comment section asking questions when they're really not looking for answers.
You're not looking for answers. What's going on, Osmosis? I promise I'm not yelling. Okay, I'm supposed to be yelling at women, I guess. But anyway, right? You're not looking for answers. If you're not looking for answers and solutions, that's okay too. But be okay with the results you're creating. You gotta be okay with the results you're creating in society. If you're not okay, it gets worse. You're digging a bigger hole for yourself. It's gonna get worse.
I'm making this video for the guys who are looking for answers. Look.
Yeah. This channel is for the people looking for answers as well. This was Kevin talking 4 years ago. He meant well. He really did. I believe he meant well. But again, money is a whole beast by itself. We're just trying to feed our family. At some point, if you don't like the truth, people will dish the lie out to you, indirectly or directly. I don't think it meant to do that, but some of you take him holding women accountable as some kind of truth for yourself. And that stuff was not that stuff was not related to your lifestyle. The reason why you created a bad, terrible marriage had nothing to do with modern women. It was just you. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free. by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a three times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right.
Um, from some of these folks who are really trying to get attention. You got some people, some of these moist little Negroes who will sit up here and say something crazy just so that they can get some clicks and views. So yeah, I don't really.
Yeah, let's talk about this getting clicks and view stuff, right? That was Tariq Nasheed talking about people uh using this to cloud chase. All right. Um I'm a little conflicted on that, okay? Because honestly, I do see the cloud chasing at a very disgusting level, especially by people who claim to be his friends, you know. But I can also understand that at the end of the day, you're responsible for keeping your family in your life. There's no friends. I'm sorry, not on YouTube, right? There are colleagues, there are acquaintances, right? There are people that you just know by the way. People that you're cool, homies, whatever, right? Those exist, and I can't knock that. And you get to know some people, and you appreciate the fact that you encounter them, and it's okay, right? Those exist. I've met quite a few people on YouTube that I would consider brothers, sisters, uh, but we've never met in person. If we've never met in person, it's like I don't even know what your posture look like when you stand, right? All I've seen is your talking head, like your upper body, just like you've seen mine, right? And sadly, 99% of the people that were giving eulogies about Kevin Samuel over the last few days were people that were not really his friends. They were not family members, they were not friends. And it became very obvious, not just particularly about what they say, but their body language, uh, that they were just cloud chasing. You know, that's just one side of me. The other side of me is like, okay, but it's news material. It's news, right? I mean, Kevin Samuel was one of the best to ever do it in terms of going viral. A one man show all by himself went viral, right? Like even the last 1 week, uh, I don't think anybody has access to his platform to be able to even put up a memorial or something on his pages on Instagram, on YouTube, right? So, as a marketer, I have all types of respect for him. He carries lots of wisdom too. And again, if we have time, I'm going to go through the rest of that video because there was so many wisdom in that one video. Um, but then watching him over the, because I stumbled into it because of the average at best, like many other people. Um, I've never interacted with him on any panel, right? But I've seen him enough to know that okay, he was a gentleman. Yeah, he was a gentleman who had a big part of him where he meant well, right? But some of the picture that people try to paint about him, like extreme negative light, I don't think it was that person. I think he had his opinions. They were purely opinions. Okay, they were exactly that, just opinions, right? They were not exactly truth. He had the facts, yeah, in terms of data, statistics, and facts. Oh yeah, you can't beat him at that, right? But again, interpretation of those data, statistics, and facts is a different ball game entirely, right? Um, but honestly, I haven't heard anything that I can say, hey, this guy is lying. I haven't, I can see the interpretation. I can see how the interpretation can correlate with women pushing against that. I can see that clearly, right? Um, and I can see how a bunch of people started following. I can see exactly why a bunch of men started following, even well-off men. I can see how a bunch of women started following too, because fear mongering is a bitch. If you fear monger any human being, as long as you're able to connect with one nerve, it's a wrap. You could go viral like that. If you're able to, there's a fear and greed, right? That's the greatest emotions ever. Control our pocket, our money, right? Everywhere you turn around is about fear and greed, right? If you're able to use one of those successfully and connect with a nerve, you win. That doesn't make it truth, gentlemen. It doesn't make it truth. The only thing that's truth is the reality you've created, the results, your outcome, like you said earlier. The outcome you've created is the truth, is the reality in front of your face. And if there's a disconnect between that and the fantasy that Mr. Kevin Samuels painted for you, you have to go with your reality. That is the truth, not the fantasy. You're not a woman. You have to go with your reality. Because that's what is it. Because again, if you're trying to fix it, if your reality is not exactly what your desired outcome is, if you don't at least acknowledge that, how are you going to fix it? You can't fix it. If you don't know where you're coming from, you can't fix it. If it's so bad that you don't like it, pointing fingers is only going to make it worse. Okay?
From some of these folks who are really trying to get attention. You got some people.
Yeah, a lot of people, again, if they're YouTubers, they're supposed to want to get attention. They see news material, they go with that. So a side of me is like, okay, it's okay. But don't call yourself his friends if you've never met him more than once ever in your life. Come on. Like, you're not a friend, okay? You're just not. You're not family member either, right? Okay, they could do whatever they want. I'm not even talking to those. But those of you that are watching spectators and you believe that shit, I'm talking to you. Okay? I'm talking to you. Stop the cap. Okay? Start using your senses. Everything. Stop using everything. This old YouTube space, unless you engage a person personally to help you, maybe by way of counseling, consulting, or something like that, anything you watch on this YouTube streets is entertainment. That's the bottom line. I have to look at my analytics and respond to it as well. I try to shape it to align with my values. Some people don't have that kind of moral compass. Majority are just clout chasing, but for good reason, because again, they're in the business of clout chasing. How are you going to start a YouTube channel and not want attention on it? That's exactly what we all want on it. Attention. That's the first step. Even if you have a good message, you still need all of the attention. That's why I can't judge Kevin Samuels, because if one of his most viral moments is the negative quote unquote stuff, that's how every business is set up. CNN does the same thing, right? They put up negative headlines for a reason. They don't put up this guy just graduated high school with a PhD. They don't put that shit up. They put up negative stuff that will get the clicks. So I slightly disagree with him. I agree with him. He's stating facts, but his interpretation of that is off. People are supposed to
Some of
look for
these moist little Negroes who will sit up here and say something crazy just so that they can get some clicks and views. So yeah, I don't really give them.
And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right, so let's watch this.
Did a lot of good things with the way he marketed
Watch
himself.
what he said here, right?
There's some people who disagreed with some of his ideologies, and I get on that in a minute. But my man was a marketing.
So to be honest, I didn't watch this whole live stream. I never finished watching anybody's live stream. Just full transparency. But
genius, you got to pop your collar to that. Some people had issues with him. Kevin Samuels always showed me respect.
Wait. So this guy, quote unquote, who claims to want to hold everyone that's not all non-FBAs accountable. Okay, I guess it's consistent, right? He doesn't hold anybody else accountable. He holds only non-FBAs, accountable. I get it. Okay, but he said he's always shown respect. So if he's always shown respect, you're not gonna have anything negative to say about him, I guess. Again, like I said, I didn't watch the full live stream. I'm just pointing that out. But I'm gonna play something for you that he did some few months back.
And him, we never had any bones.
They never had any bones personally. Now, let me share something with you very important here. This is the reality. Okay? People will see people that they never had bones with, and they won't hold them accountable. That's the reality. It's called relationship. In fact, the most valuable thing ever to the rest of us, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, okay, is our relationships. Okay, and you must nurture that. Okay, if you had to pick brutal honesty over nurturing your relationship, if you had, you'd never really have to pick if you're wise. But if you ever find yourself in a position where you feel you have to pick nurturing your relationships over brutal honesty, always pick nurturing your relationship, because that's exactly what Tariq Nasheed is doing here. How do I know? Let me play this video for you. Let me play this video for you from a few months ago.
Really see a genuine gender war between foundational Black American men and women. I don't know if it's just me personally. I just see so many sisters from over here. I get so much love from them. I have so much love for them
Cap.
myself. We have so much love for each other. We look out for each other. We're on.
So, so we're gonna cap. I guess we're just gonna call. We're just not call. I'm calling cap, right? We're just gonna cap. We never see gender war between our people, right? That's bullshit, right? It's gender war everywhere. Actually, the only reason why we're paying more attention to it is because of the internet. It's always been there. Okay, people have always pointed fingers as a way to heal, even though it never works, right? They point fingers at the next group of people. They don't only do it with gender, like I said earlier. They do it also with groups of people. That's why there's tribal wars. That's why nations fight nations. That's why one town fight the next town. As a matter of fact, that's why one street fights the next street. You see what I'm saying? So again, you gotta be careful with these gurus out here on this internet street, including myself. You have to really understand that at the end of the day, I try not to do that, but people definitely want more attention on their platform, obviously. And sometimes when feelings are involved, greed is a feeling, it's an emotion. When feelings are involved, people will cross moral lines. Okay, they will discard morality and values, and you're seeing it everywhere. Okay, I even had somebody said, I'm gonna give away I'm gonna donate money to my courses on behalf of Kevin Samuels. I wouldn't do that. I'm not judging him. I just wouldn't do that. That would be too much for me. But I'm not being an angel either. Maybe there's a certain lines I would cross too. I'm telling you to stop following anyone blindly. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't just follow people blindly. There's some kind of value that you bring to the table already. Don't discard that because you're hearing some rhetorics that connect with a nerve for you. Make sure you go through proper healing if you've gone through some terrible experience. That's not gonna happen on this YouTube channel. I try my best to answer questions and stuff like that, public, but if you don't connect with me on a personal level, I don't know your story. There's a good chance that what I am saying on a generalized level is not it's not it's not related to your issues, because for every issue you have to do a root cause analysis. You have to understand, you have to take the time. It's a process. It's not a quick fix. There's nothing in life that's worthwhile that is a quick fix. Okay, it's going to be a process. That process starts with me trying my best to listen. Now, even at that, I will still have limited understanding. Why? Because we're raised differently, we come from different backgrounds. uh you live differently right now. Your lifestyle, you're not going to be 100% with me. You probably will tell me stories that will make you, that will exonerate you. Now, I have the skills to discern. I can tell if you're full of shit, but you get the gist, right? I can still, there's still filters, right? There's only so much I can get if you're telling me a story. How much more we're generalizing on a public platform? Okay? So all of this is cap. No one particular group of people created a gender war. Human beings do that. When human beings have trouble, they point fingers. Now, if they go through healing, they realize that pointing fingers doesn't work, because there's four of them pointing at you and you're disconnecting from your greatest leverage, which is you. You get to change the issues that are happening in your life, your outcome. The greatest, like your greatest leverage is still you. Like, and it starts by identifying and say, you know what, I'm responsible, right? And if you start to hear what I just said as victim shaming, you cannot engage your power and be a victim at the same time. Okay? You could have been a victim, but if you continue to perpetuate by playing a victim, right? I don't know if it's possible. The black people all around the world is experiencing this. The more we complain, that's just that much energy we're taking away from actually conquering, as opposed to being a conquered people, right? Somebody just heard that as whatever they want to hear it because they don't want to hear the truth. Especially gentlemen, you can't be in a position where you don't want to hear the truth. See how I just said truth, right? I meant the outcome we've created, not the truth, not my version of truth. The outcome that we've created, the one that we see today that we don't like, is the truth. I didn't say it, it's just the outcome. Okay, it's just what you can see in front of you, right? If you're not able to look at that square in the face and be brutally honest with yourself, as opposed to putting all the energy in being brutally honest with other people, you're going to always fall flat on your face. It's going to get worse and worse. It's not going to get fixed. I'm sorry. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestateWholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right, let's get into some Lapeef reactions now.
Love. It's familiar, family love, right? And then you have agape, the God type of love, unconditional. Guess what men are saying, ladies? Out of all those three, those, like for y'all, Eros is important. Eros, Eros. Eros is important. Phileo, family love is important for y'all. Agape, the unconditional love, is important for y'all. You know what men are saying? We want to be respected as men. We want to be respected as men. That's the most important. When I come into my house and I make a decision, it's not a democracy. It's what I said. This is what it is. That's the respect that men talk about. Women talk about respect in terms of don't cheat on me, acknowledge my feelings, right? But everything that y'all just said, the ladies that responded that said, I want to be respected more than I want to be loved, you know, y'all tied it right back into the emotional version of love. Y'all tied it right back in to want to be acknowledged, want to be accepted, wanting to feel all of those things. And men are telling y'all, we want to be respected. And it's not that we want to be respected more than love. The way that you love us, the way that we see love, the way that we know you love us is that you respect us.
Well,
All of us women said that though, Rilla. All of us women agree.
No.
All right. So let's talk about this for a second. Love and respect. I guess more particularly respect. I put a post up on my Instagram page. You can follow me up there. ITuxB, ITUXB, and I said when men say our love language is respect, women respond with me too, right? And it's interesting. I find it very interesting because my belief system is exact. Let me tell you my belief system first. My belief system is that yes, love is a woman's love language and respect is a man's love language. Obviously, we can start to break that down to different layers, right? Um, because there is a whole book called The Five Love Languages, and that book is on point, right? I've seen people, including Anton, say things like, I don't believe in the five love language. I'm like, it's not to be believed or not. It sounds like it's like you just want to argue, you know? That's what that sounds like. You know, it sounds like you're not really looking to understand why somebody came up with that structure. They came up with it, okay? So what? But they came up with it so they can explain um something that's so difficult for a lot of people to understand, right? Now, women don't ask for respect unless they've gone through certain types of experience. They just don't, okay? When women have experience, they say they want respect, okay? A typical woman is thinking about Prince Charming, okay? That's typical, okay? Not all. I know there's some exceptions. But I was watching this video, and what Q, this young lady right here in the middle, right in the middle, she's trying to make me believe that she's different and she's a little bit weird and different. I disagree because I could see through all of that. All of that is coming from a place of experience. Oh no, we've always heard the love thing. We want respect. No, you don't. No. And Rilla was on point. What you're talking about is that you don't want to be cheated on. That's not respect. That's not what men meant when they say respect. If you cheat on a man, the last thing he's thinking is that you disrespected me. He's destroyed. He's not thinking about you disrespected me, right? But if you cheat on a woman, then she starts to ask for respect. See, it's still different. No matter how you cut it, slice it, it doesn't matter. It's still different. The key thing when we say women want love and men want respect is for you to understand that they're different. It's not about the semantics. It's not about the words. Okay? We say love and we say that with respect to affection, not the deliberate love that you're supposed to bring to a marriage or to a relationship that you actively want to nurture, right? We're talking about just the affection, like you don't even know why. There's butterflies in your stomach. Every woman, well, most women typically want to feel that, okay? And typical men wants to feel respected. This is where I call cap on real a little bit. It's still a feeling. Most men want to feel respect from his woman, right? Why is it that some men will go broke? He can't afford to keep the household together, but he still expects respect. So he's not expecting respect because clearly he's not able to maintain that household, provide and protect in that moment, but he still wants to feel respected. What is it that wise women do in that moment? Is that they make sure that their husband feels respected when he's in his down moment. It's still a feeling, okay? So when we're talking about respect that a man craves, right? We're talking about the feeling of respect. Not you gotta respect me, like where I'm from, a woman will kneel down for a man, children will kneel down or prostrate, lie flat on the floor to say hello to elders, right? Not that type of respect. See, respect is subjective, means different things, different parts of the world, right? But for those of us that have been westernized a little bit, right, you understand that respect is earned. The actual respect we're talking about is earned unless you don't know each other very well. If you don't know each other very well, naturally it feels like they respect you. That's because they don't know you, right? But once they start to get to know you, you really have to earn respect. Whatever that feeling of respect you're looking for as a man, you have to earn it over time. It's how it's going to be a function of how you show up over time, your consistency, how you show up, even when you are down. She finds it easier to bring respect to you because of the way you carry yourself by not projecting that feeling down on another human being that just so happens to be your wife. That's going to be a big part of that. And if you're not able to conduct yourself, yes, you will lose respect. Effectively, you will lose respect. I'm not talking about the evil woman who just is disrespectful. They exist too. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a typical woman who will lose respect for you if you're not a consistent man. If you don't carry yourself a certain way, any woman will lose respect for you, even including the pick me's and the feminine ones. You get it? Because it's not something that people decide. It's feelings. It's feelings. What's going on, my brother, Mister? He said, shout out to you and shout out to the wife. Right? It's feelings at the end of the day, right? Because again, once we start to dissect the word respect, we can dissect it in so many different ways. Where I'm from, some people think respect is you call an elderly person brother. Like literally, if I'm older than you by 1 day, you can't call me by my name. You have to say brother Allah, even if we're not related. You see? So when we start to have this conversation, you can dissect it in so many ways. But when we're talking about a romantic relationship, especially husband and wife, the respect that a man craves is a feeling still. He wants to feel respected. It's not the same thing that a woman is asking for when she has when she has felt disrespected by somebody who cheated on her. Those are two different things. Those are two different things, right? Generally speaking, women just don't come and say, I want respect. They're looking for Prince Charming. That's the normal thing. That's a typical woman. But once you start to say, me too, I want respect. See that me too, the word too, that tells me there's more story. Why do you want respect? Because you felt disrespected by a man. You felt like a man cheated on you, does not respect your feelings. Okay, that's coming from experience. A man does not need to go through experience before he craves for respect from his woman. They are two. What I want you to get out of this is that they are absolutely two different things, even though it's the same word. That's why we can't afford to be getting stuck in semantics because we lose the conversation. You need to ask people, what do you mean? After they say a word, I know word matters. I know the word matters, right? But you have to learn how to say, what do you mean? So they can elaborate. Context matters. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right, let's continue.
Oh, okay.
Love. So that's
Okay.
where
Because I'm not the lovey-dovey mushy type. So I don't need gifts. I don't need flowers or them little holidays. That doesn't mean nothing to me. Like, that's just me though. I'd rather you respect me being loyal, being honest, and being straightforward. So I'd rather that, because that matters to me more than some damn gifts and some dang holidays, or you saying I love you, or all that mushy stuff to me.
Ooh la la.
That's just
So
me
is it
though.
like a either or? Because I'm trying to figure out.
so
No, I
you'd be
never
okay.
said either or. It was just we were talking about that earlier.
So you would be okay with never receiving a gift from your significant other,
For
Yeah,
Valentine's.
actually, I'm a gift giver.
and you would be
So
okay with not receiving one back ever.
yeah, I'm okay with that.
You don't know Q. She's a savage in real life.
Yeah, I'm
No, she's
okay with
not.
that. Like,
Cap.
I'm weird.
Real
she's not.
talk.
Like,
No.
Mr.
No, she's
Vincent,
not.
let's
No, she's not. No, she's not. No, she's not. No, she's not savage. She's a woman like the rest of them. Okay, and I can see through all of that. See, when you engage women in certain conversations, they get in the cerebral, and then they speak what we want to hear, and then we're not able to discern that this is still a woman at the end of the day, right? And that's what this conversation is about. I'm a fan of masculine respect on exchange for feminine courtesy. Absolutely. 100%. At 100%. Yep. But let's talk about this.
for respect.
Let's
Okay.
talk about this.
So that's
because
where
I'm not the lovey-dovey mushy type.
What's lovey-dovey mushy type? What woman do you know that if a man is not showing affection will not miss it? See, we act like we're just this intentional beings. I intentionally can just not want this stuff. No, that's not how this shit works. Okay, that's not how it works. Okay, as a matter of fact, anything that's readily available will be taken for granted. There are some women that will claim that they're not lovey dovey mushy type. That's because they're receiving too much of it and it's been watered down. Okay, they're receiving it from some kind of simple something, so they don't want it. Right? If it's coming from something they don't want it. Okay, so or if it's coming too much, or somebody's not giving them the space to breathe, right? And then they will come out and say, I'm just not that mushy type of person, or they will say things like, "It's not you, it's me." If you heard, "It's not you, it's me," no. It was you. It was you. You didn't know how to back off a little bit. Okay, so I'm calling cap all day. I know you can't teach people how to talk. You have to believe her. Wait, no. Fuck all that. Fuck all that, right? No. All right. She's loving Mushi like everybody else. I can see through that, but she probably is receiving too much of it from someone she doesn't want. I'll put my money on it. I could be wrong. There's always room for me potentially be wrong, but that's all cap.
So I don't need gifts. I don't need flowers or them little holidays. That isn't.
All right. So so if somebody comes into her life and doesn't give her a gift in flowers, right? First year goes by. She'd be like, yeah, I don't care anyway, right? This is women, okay? Second years goes by, right? Yeah, I'm not really that type of person. And then Anton would say, oh, yeah, you don't know Q. She's savage like that. And the third year, she's going to be like, wait, you never, like, something Valentine's Day. Like, come on, man. Like, you don't care about me. The feelings will come in. Let's stop the cap all the way.
Mean nothing to me. Like that's just me though. I'd rather you respect me being loyal, being honest, and being straightforward. So I'd rather that.
That's coming from a place of you experiencing somebody who was not loyal. That's the only way a typical woman will be able to connect. You have to be able to connect with that kind of pain to be able to comprehend it. If you've never experienced it, if you've never experienced it, you would not know, you would not be able to comprehend it. If somebody comes to you and say a man is disloyal and this and that, you can't comprehend it unless you've heard enough story of men who are scums. Again, this idea that I don't need this kind of stuff is capping 100%. Big cap.
Because that matters to me more than some damn gifts. And
why does it matter? It matters because you didn't have it. You felt like somebody took that away from you. You're craving more for the loyalty and you're willing to trade that for what a typical woman wants, which is affection, to feel loved. But you know what's going to happen? You're shooting yourself on the legs because that's not really you. Okay? A man will show up and do all of this loyalty and stuff, and then you will call it he's smothering you to death. He needs to go to work. Cap all day long.
something holidays or you saying I love you or all that mushy stuff to me.
Ooh la la.
That's just me.
So is
though.
it like a either or?
Where I'm from, right? Our parents didn't say I love you. And I didn't miss it. Okay. But however, some people would tend to, they get westernized because they've been exposed to the Western world. They now start to say, I never got I love from your mother. I'm like, you're a Yoruba man. I didn't either, but I didn't miss it. You have to know how to understand culture, right? Culture. And did you actually miss that? Or you think the grass is greener on the other side because somebody said I love you to their children? Are you actually comparing oranges to oranges, or you're comparing oranges to apple? That's what we're talking about here. We're still talking about the love and respect thing. What a man interprets as respect is not the same thing that a woman interprets as respect. A typical woman did not even know such a thing outside of just the hypergamy nature, because that's the given, right? To anybody they're attracted to, right? As opposed to receiving it. You're only craving for it because you are doing the me too. It doesn't work in relationships. The me too stuff does not work in romantic relationships. You have to complement each other. Like my brother said earlier, masculine respect, we need each other, we're better together on exchange for feminine energy. You don't bring the same thing to the table. The relationship is pointless if that's what you're doing. Don't ask for respect because you think men want respect. I know you're not doing deliberately, but it's a subconscious thing. Now, I want to be respected too. Like we know everybody, that's the bare minimum. Now you're talking about the kind of respect you give your boss at work. That's not the same thing. It's completely two different things. Oh Lord.
Because I'm trying to figure out.
So
No,
you'd
I
be
never
okay.
said either or. It was just we were talking about that earlier.
So you would be okay with never receiving a gift from your significant other?
Yeah, actually, I'm a gift giver.
So generally, if you're a gift giver, you tend to set that up as expectations, usually unmanaged expectations that actually backfires. That's why the book Five Love Languages exists, so you can understand that just because somebody is not, just because somebody gives you a gift does not mean that you'll feel loved, right? Or just because you know how to give gift does not mean that person will feel loved. That's the whole point of that. But we also know from that book that people that tend to give, like the gift givers, they tend to expect it from other people. Another cap catcher, caps of all colors. Sorry, Q. This is all cap. Sorry. If you're a gift giver, you tend to expect it from your romantic partner. Okay. Now, if you're really that savage, respect to you, but I doubt it. I'll put money on it. I'll bet this is all cap all day long. I always leave room for the possibility that I could be wrong. There's some weird people out there.
And you would be
So,
okay with not receiving one
mhm,
back ever?
yeah. Mhm. I'm okay with that.
You don't know Q. She a savage in real life.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm
Real
weird.
talk.
Like,
Mr. Vincent, let's
Yeah, it's big cap. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right.
Pastor, that men view love through respect. I feel I am loved the most when I am respected by my significant other. When she respects how I view things, when she respects how I like things done, when she respects how, for example, how I would like for her to act when she's around or out, or how she dresses, I view that as her loving me and respecting my wishes. But I also agree with Courtney in what she said, that women, that's why a question I want to ask the women were, if you could have one or the other, your man could only love you or he could only respect you, which one would you pick?
respect
You'd pick respect.
for me.
So all the lovey-dovey, mushy, kissing, emotional stuff, holding your hands, you would throw that out the window to be respected every day.
Yeah, because I can rub on him and touch on him.
No, you're not going to get a receipt. You're not.
No,
He's not going to be reciprocal. He's not going to be
I
receiving. He's
still
not going to be accepting of it.
I still will
But that,
choose respect.
yeah, that doesn't make sense because if respect is a man's love language, then why would he not love on a woman that respects him?
Because he doesn't want
And
to.
and
That's not his.
love, if we going
That's
into
not.
the etymology of the word, it's like pleasing.
But
So that's
that's not.
why
But
no one can ever really.
that doesn't please him. Him being physical with you in that sense may not please him. Some men aren't. Don't like those kinds of affection. They're more so of the laissez-faire, kiss you on the mouth one time and not have to kiss you for the rest of the year. But he respects you. He doesn't cheat on you. He doesn't lie to you. He makes sure the household is paid for every month. You don't have to worry about him coming home at 6 o'clock in the morning. He's only with you, and you're the only woman he knows.
I will take that
Give
over
me the
love.
respect.
Let me be.
No, you
Let me.
won't.
Let's
No,
be.
you won't. The cap continues. Oh my God. The cap continues. The cap continues. Yeah, the cap continues. Absolutely, the cap continues. Uh, let's dissect this together.
Agree with the pastor that men view love.
So it was basically a video. We've actually posted that on my wife and I's Lola and Ola at Lola and Ola on Instagram. We've actually posted that before, but they played the video. I'm not gonna play it right now. But it was basically a pastor talking about love and respect and how it's different from men to women. Let's see here. Let's make sure. Yeah, and how it's different from men to women, right? Um, and that's what they were responding to, right? So
Through respect, I feel I am loved the most when I am respected by my significant other. When she respects.
see, I like the fact that he used the word "I feel." A lot of men in the manosphere space, they cap about the feel thing. Everyone only cares about what they feel, nothing else. I'm sorry, okay? Just like my brother said here, we all want to feel appreciated, okay? Desired and loved. It's a feeling. And how that's interpreted can vary from people to people. But the feel is the one thing that's consistent. So I'm actually glad that he used the word feeling.
How I view things, when she respects how I like things done, when she respects how, for example, how I would like for her to act when she's around or out, or how she dresses.
Wait. You want her to respect, I'm confused, how she acts when she's around and about? Yeah. Most modern women will start to interpret that as controlling behavior, and rightfully so. Gentlemen, you have to know this part, okay? You can be controlling or come off as controlling without it being your intentions. You have to be aware of that. Okay. So I'm able to pick that up because I've been through this and I know. Okay. But let's play it again.
When she respects how, for example, how I would like for her to act when she's around.
How for her to act. Now, it sounds like we're talking about a child. Now, within certain context, I understand that, you want to take care of your baby girl like a princess, your wife, or like a princess, but she doesn't want to necessarily know that you think of her as a child. So when you say how she acts in public and all this kind of stuff, if that's your vocabulary, I'm forced to wonder if this is how you actually move in a romantic relationship. You might have even heard this before. Let's keep going.
Around or out or how she dresses, I view that as her loving me and respecting my wishes.
So if she forgets how she likes to dress and she dress how you want to be dressed, which women don't give a shit what you want in terms of how they dress so they can look good to the outside world. I know it sounds terrible, but it's the reality. Okay, but at some point, your woman will probably understand what you like too, especially if you focus on pointing it out when you like it, as opposed to pointing it out when you don't like it. Oh yes, yeah, I know, we're painting it, and these pictures you have to like pander to women. Yes, precisely. If you want to stay married, it's not pandering. It's being aware that your words can make people feel a certain type of way on the other end, and stop being so egotistical and being in your feelings. Okay? Don't be butthurt about what I just said. Just listen to it carefully. Rewind if you need to do that.
But I also agree with Courtney when she said that women, that's why a question I want to ask the women were, if you could have one or the other, your man could only.
If she dresses how you want her to dress, that's not. Again, we're talking about action things becoming respect. You're moving away from the fact that this is just a feel. We just want to feel respected. My woman can wear what she wants to wear that I don't necessarily agree with. I'm not talking about she's just showing herself nude, right? I'm just talking about a dress I don't necessarily prefer. But the way she's able to talk to me, um, I can't. She can make me feel respected without me necessarily not agreeing with what she's wearing. You get the gist? All right. The nuances is what matters here, not the facts, stats, and data. The nuances is what create the vibe in your relationships. And this is why a lot of people get in trouble without intentionally wanting to get in trouble. You have to be aware of these things.
Love you, or he could only respect you. Which one would you pick?
Now, my expectation is that this woman will say respect. That doesn't mean I believe that. Okay? That doesn't mean I don't know for a fact that every woman wants to just feel loved. And if they don't if they don't feel like you're dragging them as like you're taking them for granted, they don't really know that thing called respect. As for us, the way a woman talks to us can suddenly start to make us feel disrespected. It's part of socialization. Again, I'm still calling cap, right?
Respect.
You pick respect.
For me.
So I don't think she's capping intentionally. Again, most modern women will say this. They will say respect. Don't fall for it, okay? Don't fall for equality. When it comes to a romantic relationship, there's no such thing, okay? You bring all of you, especially as a man. You bring all of you, you continue to work on yourself, and she will multiply that. If you're playing equal with her, she's matching you. And then eventually you break up and you're like, oh, we tried our best. We had good conversations, but we're just not together. See, that's your problem. You didn't realize this was about attraction all the while. At the end of the day, this is about attraction. It's about your ability to be able to seduce a member of the opposite gender into a romantic relationship with you. It's not about keeping equal or playing scores or keeping scores with each other. It's not a competition. Even when women try to compete with you, it's your responsibility as a man to remain a man.
So all the lovey-dovey, mushy, kissing, emotional stuff, holding your hands, you would throw that out the window to be respected every day.
Yeah, because I can rub on him and touch on him.
We're talking about what he gives to you. Oh my God, I'm frustrated now. We're talking about what he brings to you, right? We're not talking about what you bring to. See how all of that got conflicted really quickly. Yeah, these are the real things that's happening in relationships. People get confused in real life, right? But it shows up in these conversations, and that's why we must continue the conversation. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right, so I had like 4 more I could have responded to, but right about now, I think we should go back to the some of the Kevin Samuel stuff that happened over the past week, since that's timely right now. I wanted to point out some things, and then also Kevin had like a lot of lessons in this 122 minutes video that I think I was trying to link it in the bottom after we go live. Um, but he had a lot of lessons for us men that I subscribe to that I want us to review as well. But first, I want to play this video from three ladies, 3 or 4 ladies. They had something to say about Kevin Samuels. This was my expectation of this type of ladies. I'm more disappointed in the men that are overreacting to this, okay? Because again, yes, I blame men for everything. Just get used to it, okay? If you don't like that, keep it moving. There are more than enough toxic platforms out there. But again, if you want to hear the truth, right? As a matter of fact, I know naturally you don't want to hear the truth. Let me play this video for you one more time, and then we'll get into the other videos. Watch this. This is what Kevin said himself initially, and I played this earlier. I want to play it again.
If you're not getting the outcomes you want. And a lot of times guys don't want to hear that truth. We just don't. If I come on here talking about, female nature, such and so forth,
we just don't want to hear the truth.
Bashing women or talking noise. Oh man, the likes and everything will go through the roof. But when you start talking to men, saying, guys, cheap is some of the most expensive stuff.
Healthy.
Exactly. So with that being said, my expectations, I don't have any higher expectations from a Vivica Fox. I just don't. She's not married. Up to last recent few years, she was chasing after 50 Cent, who is about half our age, right? So I don't know. Hold on 1 second. Like let's right? Yeah, up to yeah. So I don't know why you had such unrealistic expectations of the modern women. I don't know. I guess you want me to hold her accountable here. Like, anyway, let's play the video.
This man was a hypocrite, in my honest opinion. Healthy.
She's talking
this
about
man
Kevin Samuels.
Was a hypocrite, in my honest opinion. He really was. I didn't find anything about him to be healing. He insulted African-American women on a consistent basis. One of his last statements that he said was that if you're over 38 and you haven't married or something like that, that you're no good and disposable. To me, it was a shock jock. And, I hope this is teaching folks a lesson about the karma that you put out, the negativity that you put out in the world, that when karma comes knocking at your door, she might not be so kind. So, the fact that he killed over real quick and was supposedly with a woman that we don't yet know the nationality. Rest in peace.
Oh, yes. There you go. Lisa Ray, we got to go to you next. I want to hear what you got to say.
So not only did a bunch of men overreact to this all over the place, okay? I mean, obviously, we're consistent, okay, on the internet. It's terrible. It's terrible. Not only did we overreact to it, clearly she used the word karma. I wouldn't call it karma, but I don't think she was calling the fact that he passed away karma. I think she was more so talking about what people are saying, right? You see, the Bible is very clear about judgment. It's the same measure, right? Let me even, I think it's Matthew 7:7. Let me find out really quickly. Matthew 7:7. I hope I'm correct. Let me see. Oh, it's not Matthew 7:7 actually. Matthew judgment. It's in Matthew somewhere. Judge not. Yeah, it's called Judge Not. There you go. It's Matthew 7. Uh what verse is this? I want to make sure I got the verse. Oh, actually it's Matthew 7:1, right? So let's grab that really quickly and paste this here for you. It's very important, right? This is not something we get away with. We don't get away with this just because everyone's life will end one day. That's a fact. Why should we overreact to people commenting about something that a man was talking about when he was here? He started a conversation. It was needed, right? Okay, I found it. I found it. 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me post it. This is the reality. Gentlemen, I have to point out the reality for you. Like, it's sad that he passed away. I don't think she's saying passing away is karma. I think she's talking about the judgment aspect of it. People are judging him after he passed away, right? But also, we all know that he was brutally honest with a lot of women because they became the viral moments, the biggest videos on his platform. There's no need to cap about that. You don't have to over explain you're mansplaining yourself. This is the same thing you're doing wrongly. You continue to explain yourself when it's not necessary, and then you're digging deeper holes for yourself and even the legacy of the man, right? So why are you overreacting to something that a Vivica Fox will say? I don't think I will put so much weight on our opinion. In addition to the fact that even Karma, in her context, she said rest in peace at the end of it. She's talking about the judgment. She received all his rhetorics as judgment, and she's having an opinion about it, and you're overreacting to it. This is your consistent behavior. It's not about Vivica Fox. This is your consistent behavior when it comes to a woman has something to say. You overreact so you never get to lead because you're overreacting to every little thing. Way too many men overreacting to what she had to say. Right? The Bible right here said, do not judge or you too will be judged. We all will judge and will be judged, right? But don't be so surprised that you live in a society that even the scripture has said or alluded to that for in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, even if they're wrong. Even if they're wrong. See, it's your expectations for me. This is the same thing you carry into relationships. With the same measure. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. It's just a reality. You can avoid reality all you want. You cannot avoid the consequences of avoiding reality. What is the consequences of avoiding reality in this context? You're going to attract more shaming language from people that you really don't have to value their opinion that much.
Healthy. This man was.
She was reacting to what Marlon Wayans said. Okay?
A hypocrite, in my honest opinion. He really was.
She says an opinion.
I didn't find anything about him to be healing. He insulted African American women on a.
I don't think Kevin Samuel wanted to heal anyone. I think he was a business man. I think he was a content creator, a hell of a content creator, and an extremely genius marketer that we can all learn from as content creators. I think he made a lot of good points. I think his viral moments are viral for a reason. They were negative. There's no positive stuff that go viral. Are you going to be, are you literally going to be capping about that? Just because you want to honor the legacy of a person you don't really know? Another cap?
Consistent basis. One of his last statements that he said was that if you're over 38 and you haven't married or something like that, that you're no good and disposable.
It was taken out of context. I'm sure there's more context to that. But again, if women are overreacting to that, why do you expect anything less or higher or different? I don't understand. Why would you expect anything different if women hear that one line and overreact to it? You as a man in this society, why would you overreact to that? Now, more importantly, How does that translate to your personal relationships? This is how you behave in your personal relationships? Overreacting to every chance you get, you overreact, and you want to lead in the same breath? It's not going to work. You need emotional control, self-control.
To me, he was a shock jock. And, I hope this is teaching folks a lesson.
It was a hell of a marketer. She said it in a different way. Was that disrespectful? I mean, come on. Have some self-respect. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
Instagram famous person, you know what I mean? But I agree with Vivica. I think that sometimes when you are trying to help, it got to come in a kind of way, because we're your kind. We are your type, meaning we're Black. You know what I mean? And we are family, you know what I mean? So when you talk to us, because we as a race have been through so much, and it's almost like talking to us like this does not help us even listen and hear you. I didn't really.
All right, so I disagree with her slightly, right? And I disagree with her slightly, but I understand where she's coming from, right? In Nigeria, we call this packaging. Where over here in the United States, we probably call it presentation. Kevin Samuel will probably call it your image. It matters. It matters. Okay? Even Kevin will tell you, he said that in so many words in the next few clips I'm going to play. It matters. Your image, how people perceive you. Perception is reality. I know you don't want to hear that, but it's the reality. Okay? The reality is the truth. Truth is bitter, right? It's a hard pill to swallow. You like to say that, but only when it's the words, the semantics, the intellectual diarrhea, right? But the reality is your outcome, what you've created, essentially. That's the reality, right? But let me play it one more time.
Instagram famous person, you know what I mean? But I agree with Vivica. I think that sometimes when you are trying to help,
So she's acknowledging. See, we took it out of context. We ran with the Vivica clips, but she's actually acknowledging that Kevin was trying to help. I mean, it was very clear that you could see through him. He was consistent. He wanted to help. He tried to help the men for so long. They did not listen. Men did not listen. And they were messing up his algorithms by watching just 1 minute and then dropping off because he was holding them accountable. And then he found a niche that worked, that went viral. Hello? Should we just continue to call cap here, or we should say the truth? The reality, the outcome that we've created has nothing to do with the fact that this great man has passed away. I call him great because he was good at what he did. He was really good at it, right? He will, over time, see, as human beings, we like to look into the past with rose gold color lens. People will reflect on the good part of what he did. Trust me. That's how we are human beings. We forgive, right? But you, gentlemen, you're overreacting because you're responding to women that, quote unquote, are celebrating. They're celebrating. Why did you have a different expectation? I'm confused. Why did you have a different expectation? Because you're weak. Men are becoming weak. Gone are those days when a woman would do something, you just be like, that's a woman. Let her be. That's different from holding her accountable. I'm not saying don't hold women accountable, but you cannot do that if you lack self-control.
It got to come in a kind of way, because we're your kind. We are your type.
So it's not all the time. This is part where I was disagreeing. It's not every time that truth has to come in a kind way. If you're going to hurt yourself, safety, security, it's not going to come in a kind way. Okay? But if we're talking about emotional matters, it requires a process. Gentlemen, we have to be patient. That's what she's talking about. We have to be patient. Now, I don't agree with the absolute that everything must come in a kind way. Sometimes hard pills are not going to come kind. They're going to be bitter, right? Especially if it's a life or death matter. But when it comes to relationships, it's not a life and death matter. No, it's not. It's just not. It's okay to move on. It's okay to let go if it's not working out. And when you let go, you increase the chances that the person doesn't want to let go. Now you can attract them back as opposed to forcefully trying to use 1960 rhetorics to force them to be with you in the name of duty and responsibility and trying to pretend like attraction is not a thing. Right? That's a thing. That's reality. That's reality. So I don't agree with the absolute of it, but I get what she's trying to say. Presentation matters. Context also matters. So if you care about presentation, maybe you should listen long enough to see what the man is trying to say. This is to all the women who may be confused about what his message was as well.
Meaning we're Black, you know what I mean? And we are family, you know what I mean? So
yeah, she almost sound like if we are Black, we can't tell ourselves the truth. But again, if we're talking about emotional matters, make sure that you're making sure you're preparing the ground that you want to sow a seed on. Don't be stupid, okay? Because you will be dragged. Because we're all human beings and we all make mistakes, and we're not all of us, we're not perfect, right? So I see, but those are the nuances of this conversation as opposed to just want to be aggressive, like, oh yeah, these bitches. This speaking of, anyway, let me play a video for you really quickly because I don't know who this guy is. Maybe some of you can name him, but I don't know. But let me play a clip for you. This was absolutely terrible, right? This is not how to hold women accountable. This is how to be a dumb, stupid person on the internet. I don't know who he is, but you can put his name.
You're rejoicing as if you're no longer going to be a fat, old, single mom, broke, no hair, no natural beauty, socially awkward, irresponsible, fucking thought ratchet at best. See, those problems did not die with Kevin.
All right, so I just have a question. Okay, what type of result does this man think is looking to generate outside of going viral? Let's remove all the caps. Get the caps off. Okay, what kind of result, right? I pray that he lives to his old age. Okay, I pray that God keeps him healthy. All right. But if someone was to speak to his legacy tomorrow, what are his expectations? Now he's defending Kevin. Okay? He's defending Kevin. Maybe he's one of those people that claim to know him personally, but they only met once or twice ever. Maybe never. Right? Maybe never. What kind of result is he looking to generate? What is this? Holding women accountable? We need to build our society. Family structure need to come back. Nuclear family is the cornerstone of our society. What exactly outcome is this man looking for with this message? I'm curious. Let's just think about that without me judging him. I already judged him. I think it's a terrible way of talking. I think he's painting his image the way he would like to be remembered. Okay? I can't police him on that. But let's talk about the results for those of you that are coming behind us, right? I don't know how old this man is. I'm 42. Let's talk to the people in their 20s. When you talk like this, and thousands of people are potentially going to watch your video, right? And people like me will fair use, grab this clip and say, this is an example of what not to do, gentlemen. Okay? What type of outcome does he expect to create? I'm curious. Leave me a comment, right? What do you think the type of result is going to create in his personal life? We know what it's going to create on the internet. It's going to go viral, make a little change here and there. We get that. Maybe you can make another a $3 million in a year too, just like Kevin Samuels. I get it. But that's not the end all be all of life. right? That doesn't give us fulfillment, the ultimate fulfillment we're all looking for in life. It doesn't. Because once you have money, what else? It's like, oh, that's watered down, right? Been there, done that before, right? It's like, what's next, right? There's something that we're all looking for, and it's usually beyond money. But if you haven't seen money, maybe you don't believe me. I get it. But let's ask ourselves, if we have enough men watching this and they think they can go back to their relationship and talk this way at women, no air, no hair, right? Non-natural beauty looking. That's not something that, like, let's assume he's wrong, by the way, but let's assume that's facts. That's clearly is not something that they could control. What do you get from painting that picture? I'm not understanding. Like, what does he get from that? Is that part of holding women accountable? I'm asking. I'm asking. I'm asking for someone, please. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
You know what I mean? But then when I turned the volume up, I kept turning it down. You know what I mean? He just looked debonair, and he looked like, oh, okay, let me listen to the brother. But once I did not like all of the, commentary that he had to say. So
she said he looked good. She's talking about Kevin Samuels, right? He looked good, but once he turned up the volume, she would turn it back down. Now, how do we want to interpret that? Let me play that video for you again, okay? I just want you to give it a thought while I'm playing that short clip again, right? She said, I turn up the volume because this man looked good. I mean, pause. No cap. He looked good, right? In fact, he was pushing that message of image, right? Which I'm going to play some more videos here in a second. Let me play that clip again one more time.
He looked, you know what I mean? But then when I turned the volume up,
she said, I like the way he looked, but when I turn up the volume, I like to add some context, right? Because again, it's very easy to run with viral clips like the Vivica Fox karma bullshit, right? Clearly, we don't agree with that. And clearly, she was taken out of context too. She wasn't talking about the passing away part. She was talking about the judgment, okay? But I get it. It doesn't follow the narrative we like to paint. But
kept turning it down. You know what I mean? Up, I kept turning it. You know what I mean? But then when I turned the volume up, I kept turning it down. You know what I mean? He just looked debonair, and he looked like, oh, okay, let me listen to the brother. But once I did not like all of the, commentary that he had to say. So, absolutely.
All right. So this is not particularly about Kevin Samuel, but this is going to happen to many of you, right? Not going to. It's happening already. I get a lot of people call me and text me about this. You thought women want a guy who looks good, right? Somebody told you, red pill. Stupid red pill, by the way. That's not red pill, actually. That's you talking to yourself, right? Somebody told you that, don't pander to women. They will want to sleep with you. Right. Right. Somebody told you that don't make a woman feel good. Because after all, they want the Pokies and the Ray Rays. They don't want you. Right? Right. But actually wrong. Right. And you look good. You started working out. You're going to the gym. You're fighting kickboxing. Right. And then you're looking good. You're looking sharp. Looking nice. Right. In suits, you started following Kevin Samuels. You started watching all of his old videos and where but you heard a few parts where he said dress like you want to be addressed, right? You started wearing suits, but every time you open your mouth and talk, 2 sentences in, the pussy is dry. This is a real thing. Not Kevin Samuels in particular, because obviously he was a man of a certain status at least a few years before he died. So he didn't experience what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about him. But again, many of you will experience what she just said. And you need to pay attention to that. Okay? Social awkwardness is a real plague for the men of the modern age. Social awkwardness, meaning you know that the way you talk is not attractive, so you throw your hands in the air and say, I'm just going to talk anyhow anyway. After all, they sleep with all the Pookies and Ray Rays and the Futures who don't really care anyway. No, they don't. Okay? The problem is that the Pookies and the Ray Ray overcompensates by having game that you lack. Okay? Now, you may call it they're simping. A lot of these guys don't buy nothing for these girls. It's just the finessing. It's just they know how to make a person feel good in their presence. That is not, quote unquote, that is not pandering. Okay? As a matter of fact, it's not relevant. That's simply you. You lack game. Okay? Maybe you have your own game, but you lack a good game. Your results, you have to look at your results as reality. Don't shoot yourself on the legs. Okay? A lot of you would dress good, you smell good, you know all the right colognes, all of that. But you open your mouth to talk, 2-3 sentences in, and she doesn't want to fuck with you anymore. And then what do you say? They just don't like to hear the truth. No, Kevin said it. You don't like to hear the truth. That's the problem. Do you need me to play that video again? You don't like to hear the truth. Oh, as a matter of fact, I did a reaction, not to, you can find it on my channel, to Kevin Samuels some weeks back, of him saying that that's where Pookie and Ray Ray is overcompensating. Game. Your social skills. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I could learn something, but don't blame yourself, because blame is 100% destructive. It doesn't matter if you're pointing finger at yourself or someone else. But look at it and say, hey, there's something I can learn. My results are not what I want. As opposed to pointing fingers at the whole opposite gender. But this is exactly what happens. Now, she was listening, to Kevin's credit, she was listening to a video. But in persons, many of you are experiencing this already. If you're listening to my video and I say 2 sentences and you don't like it, you can shut that off. It's okay. But if you take what Kevin said on his video, maybe he was holding a woman who called in accountable, holding her accountable because of entitlement, which is terrible, right? And then you take that back to your personal relationships. See, something I've said. You take that back to your personal relationships. You're going to create this kind of results.
You know what I mean? But then when I turned the volume up, I kept turning it down. You know what I mean?
You know what that looks like in real life? You said one thing, you said the second thing, and she's like, he looks so good. But no, I can't deal. She could smell your spirit. She could smell all the hurt. I know you don't like being told who hurt you. She's getting ready to ask you who hurt you just because of the way you talk. Right? You need to continue to listen. You need to continue to, some of these case studies we're talking about is real. A long time ago, I said something. I said, Kevin has some good message, but we need Kevin Samuels applied. It's a different ballgame. He had some really good material, but when a bunch of little boys in his comment take that and run with it back to real life, they start talking stupid. A bunch of grown people too, 60 years old, right? But there's another side to everything he was preaching. There's application. How does this play out in real life? Role playing. Let's see how you talk to women. Let's see the kind of results you're creating. We want to know. You want to know because you're looking for a better result, right? Do people like, you look good, you're working out, you've been following the red pill, fresh and fit, you're taking care of yourself, but when you open your mouth to talk, like, and you're comparing yourself to fresh and fit, and those guys are cashing out big time because it's a YouTube channel, it's not a real life relationship. Yeah. We're going to continue the conversation. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
We can't be held accountable for the things that we said while we were alive. Listen, I think he has some very valid points. I think people are very unrealistic about relationships. I think a lot of women and a lot of men are. It's not a woman thing and it's not a man thing. But he just so happened to pop when he started coming for Black women, because he did start off being negative towards Black men, and people weren't really trying to hear that. Brothers weren't trying to hear about themselves, but what they were trying to hear about was how it's the women's fault.
Interesting.
Something is consistent here. People don't want to hear the truth. And what we're going to do right now is I'm going to run through a few clips of the truth, right? Precisely the reality, straight from the horse's mouth, right? And I want you to go find that video. I will try to put it in the description, but I'm using this in fair use. There were some really good messages there, and I'll interpret them really quickly, and then we'll fly through it, right? Let's go to this first one right here.
A lot of us were taught that dressing, especially if you came from the Bible Belt, you were taught that image is vanity, image is sinful, and we got all this cultural programming to overcome. So while other guys or other people realize, you know what, image is important and crucial, just as important as education and knowledge and everything else, is the other part of the pie. I mean, it goes hand in hand. It's not as important or less important. It all goes hand in hand. So a lot of times guys are going into a fight with one hand tied behind your back and one eye blindfolded, versus going in fully armed. I'm trying to arm a lot.
Let me interpret that really quickly for you, okay? Imagine the way you talk in public. The way you talk in public, right? The way you talk in public is part of your image, okay? You need to be fully armed before you start talking reckless in public because of, quote unquote, you want to hold women accountable. You have to be careful. You will be judged. Same measure, if not greater, because the feminine energy will multiply this shit for you. Guaranteed. If you talk like this in public,
you're rejoicing as if you're no longer going to be a fat, old, single mom, broke, no hair.
He's right.
No natural beauty.
Listen, he's right. Well, he's wrong with the no natural beauty part. But he's right. He's speaking from his experience. But if he has expectations that he will not be judged if something happens to him tomorrow, he's shooting himself on the legs. That's called unrealistic expectations. If he doesn't realize that this is becoming a part of his image, he's full of shit, like the rest of us, right? Not me though. I don't do shit like this, right? If he doesn't realize this is part of his image, if he thinks because of speaking truth and facts, he deserves better. That's called Mr. Nice Guy. That's called being lame. That's part of lack of game. It's part of your image. A lot of us, like Kevin said earlier in this video, we came from a place where we were taught, like he was talking about, the image is a bad thing, is a sin. So some people have taught you, they also taught you that learning how to speak and make people feel right around you is pandering. Somebody taught you wrong. That's part of your image. You're hurting yourself. You're shooting yourselves on the legs with that rhetoric. It doesn't mean you can't speak the truth, but it means packaging, presentation is part of your responsibility, especially as a man. You don't get to mix that up and think you get away with it. That's not how life works. I'm sorry. That's simply not how life works. That's a fantasy. Women are expected to fantasize about unrealistic stuff, not men. It's an expectation. There's a lot of smart women out here. Okay? It's terrible expectation, nonetheless, but it is what it is. Let me play this next clip.
Somebody just asked, "Will I spend $150 on a basic T-shirt?" Wrong question.
Wrong question.
You're talking about cost. Talk about value. That's where a lot of guys get hung up. You worry about the cost. None of the questions are about value or what you're getting. It's all about how much it costs. We don't think about value. Minister Jap made a video the other day talking about how some.
That's the wrong question. Cost versus value. Let me play one more video. I got one more video about the cost versus value thing, and I'm going to interpret that for you in terms of how you talk. That's part of your image, okay? That's part of how you talk. Your social awkwardness is part of your image. All right. Let me play this for you real quickly. Let's talk about value. Yeah. Again, the arguments. Somebody was arguing with him in the chat as he was recording this video. As usual, men don't like to be held accountable, but yet want to hold women accountable. What a great way to shoot yourself on the legs.
You're saying, yeah, value is important, but I'm not going to spend that much money for a rag.
See why everyone is worried about cost? He's talking about value, right? What value? Let's talk about the legacy of this man. What value did it bring to you? If you're so sure of the value he brought to you or to other people, why don't you talk more about that? Why are you so much worried about the cost? The cost of it is that some people are offended. That's a fact of life. That's the reality. Some people were offended. That's the cost of it. But you're focused on the cost. What value did you get from being exposed to Kevin Samuel's content? Why don't you focus on that? You couldn't, because you haven't gone through the proper healing you need. You couldn't because you haven't identified the value. You're more so concerned about the toxicity, which is more of a cost to his legacy in the short term, because I guarantee you over time people will dig out all the good messages that he had, because it's no longer making money from it. So eventually the cream will rise to the top, but not for you as an individual, because you're stuck on cost.
You don't know what this rag is made out of. Value is important, but I'm not going to spend that much money for a rag. You don't know what this rag is made out of.
So ironic,
you just assume
right?
One rag is like any other rag, and that's the problem. We just assume everything is like the other thing. A shoe that looks this way is like a shoe that looks this way. That's why cheap shoemakers are getting guys for money. And who came on my channel the other day? O'Shea was talking about it. He bought.
Yes, to wanna identify the value and focus on the value. Don't be overreacting to the cost. See, everything we do in life has a cost, and it's not always, like Vivica said, sadly, it's not always nice. The cost is not always nice, but as gentlemen, you need to learn how to focus on the value, because you focus on the cost to expand. The cost is red for a reason. It's negative. You start seeing red everywhere. You getting this message? How you doing, Tuana? I haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully you're still live on your channel. Oh Lord. Let me go ahead go to the next clip. This is the best video on that platform, and no one is talking about this video. I saw one person talking about it in a negative light, but let's get into it.
Tearing up, and he's like, man, now I gotta go out and replace it. Those cheap shoes are the most expensive thing you need.
Cheap is expensive. If you're cutting corners, it's expensive. If you're looking for shortcuts, it's expensive. If you're looking to just feel good in the moment, it's expensive. It's extremely expensive. Man, you don't get away with focusing on the cost. You have to focus on the value. It's the same thing when you're interacting with a woman. What is the value you're looking for? If there's no value, if you can identify a value, move away from it. Don't become toxic to the rest of the women in society because you couldn't get value from one person, right?
And dudes just want to be right. You just want to be right. You don't want to understand what's going on. You want to come on and say, you're wrong. That doesn't make sense. I'm
just
good
point
the way
fingers.
I am. Then
you just want to point fingers. You just want to point fingers. When Kevin talks about need to be right, he started talking to men about that. But of course, everyone thinks he's talking about women. right now. Sign language. Women always speak sign. No, you speak sign language. You speak the worst sign language because it comes with anger, oftentimes. Right? You're going here. You just want to argue. Here is him talking about disagreement versus argument.
Someone to look at another channel. Let's go. No, we can't disagree. We can disagree without being disagreeable. You're not disagreeing with anything I've said. You're arguing. You have an opinion that's not based on anything but your opinion. And when I try to educate you, you keep asking questions. Quite honestly, I'm going to say something. That's kind of like how women act. A man you can ask a man something and he answers you, and instead of saying, okay, you want to question his answer with another question. And there's never an end to it. It's just ongoing dialogue.
It's just an ongoing conversation. Look, it never ends. No solutions.
Bottom line is, you have an image. Everyone has an image.
You have an image. Kevin has an image. His image right now is costing him short term. Right after he passed away in legacy, it's just short term. Because again, the cream always rises to the top. People will find these messages. Okay, I'm pulling them out right now. Right? Yes. This is when he was talking to men. And I think it's the best video on his channel because he's talking to men. Because man leads the society and women follow at individual levels and at a society, community level. This is true always, 100% of the time. That's why this is one of his best message ever. And I'm glad it actually came to the surface of my algorithms as well. That means people are watching it. Again, people look into the past with the rose gold color lens, right? They will forgive all that, viral moment that tends to be negative. They will forgive. You need to stop overreacting to it. You need to remain a man in this moment in time. Stop overreacting to Vivica Fox or randoms on Twitter that are obviously somebody celebrating somebody's passing away. That's completely terrible. Why are you overreacting to that? It tells me there's something about you that's attracting toxic stuff. Because honestly, I've seen maybe one or two because you brought it to the surface. I don't see this kind of shit. You know?
Not just the commenter. Everyone has an image. Use it to your advantage.
Everyone has an image. That includes how you talk. Okay? If you talk like this is part of your image. If you talk like this in public,
you're rejoicing as if you're no longer going to be a fat, old, single mom, broke, no hair, no natural beauty, socially awkward, irresponsible, fucking thought ratchet at best.
Wait. Let me slow it down. See, I wasn't going to give this guy attention. I don't know his name. I wasn't going to give him attention, but let me give him some attention because he deserves it. Okay? He deserves the attention he's looking for. He's going to go viral. Okay? Maybe not true here. Somebody else will pick this up. I need to go viral. Let me play it again. Okay? I'm focusing on it too, and I know you to expand, but he put this out there. Right?
You're rejoicing as if you're no longer going to be a fat, old.
Fat, old. Okay. These are maybe the people he attracts in his life. Okay, let's keep going. He's not necessarily wrong yet.
Single mom.
Single mom. Okay. Okay. That's really not your problem, but I get it's the problem of the society, right? Community. I get it. Let's keep going. We're projecting here little by little, but let's continue.
Broke.
Broke. Okay. So everyone is broke. There's single moms that are broke. Are there single moms that are making multiple six figures that will give you a run for your money? They exist too. They have the same problems too, right? Okay, these are problems, but this is how we want to address it. But let's keep going. He's not necessarily wrong yet, but he's creating an image effectively. Let's keep going.
No hair.
No hair. Okay. All right. I don't know. Alopecia. Okay. Let's keep going.
No natural beauty.
No natural beauty. Okay. Is this something that people get to control even if it was true? I'm not sure what he meant by that, but let's keep going.
Socially awkward.
Okay, this behavior right here, if you are listening to this, is this not social awkward behavior? If you know that thousands of people are gonna watch this and you think this is gonna pay off long term, is this not socially awkward behavior?
Irresponsible.
Okay, I would interpret this as irresponsible behavior, but maybe I'm pandering, right? Let's keep going.
Fucking thought ratchet at best.
Okay, so this whole thing is not ratchet at best. Hmm, interesting. So anyway, let me go on to the next clip of of Kevin Samuels. Let's keep going because again, this is he was talking about this brother, even though I think they were friends.
In particular, we love
Because it looks like this guy is, I don't know his name, but I think he's big in the manosphere, and I think he may have been part of the Obsidian group and all those kind of people. Well, I just can't recall his name right now. Let's keep going.
brothers in particular. We love to argue and start shit. I don't mind that. But what's not going to happen is
I know why he doesn't mind that. It's nice payday. but let's keep going.
you're not going to come onto the channel.
Well, he didn't mind that
and
rather.
Argue like you can ask questions. I answer questions. I dare you to find any other channel that goes out and answers as many questions or as engaged as I am. But what you're not going to do is come onto the channel and debate me.
Yeah. That's why. Anyway, let me keep going. Let me not talk shit. Let's keep going. I got one more after this. Let me.
My appearance. I dress the way I dress for me. I have a brand.
Again, he's talking about image. He's talking about brand. Had the way you talk to that. The way you. And I know, Tawana, I saw you when you were a guest on Kevin Samuel's page. He was extremely respectful, and I think you were surprised. See, if you call into his show, he has a different energy than when he calls into your show or it's a special situation, right? Right. So, and a lot of men did not pick that up. They enjoyed more when it was roasting women. I get it. It's entertaining, but please don't cap. It was entertaining. You weren't enjoying it because it was the truth. These are the truth right here. The same man, but you didn't like it. He didn't go viral before that.
You have a brand. Everyone has a brand. What do people say about you when you leave the room? That is your brand.
What do people say about you when you leave the room? What do people say about you when you're no longer here? Are they going to find good materials? Are they going to roast you initially? Eventually, will they find good material? I think they will find good material for him later on. But for you, are they going to find any good material? Any? Maybe one, maybe two? Or holding yourself accountable? Are they going to find any?
That is your image. That is your reputation. There's no two ways about it. Your question is it working for you or is it not? Is it getting you the outcome?
It's not about you being right or wrong. Is it working for you or it is not? That's the truth. That's the only truth that exists. That's the reality. If it's not working for you, guess who you get to blame if you have to use that word at all? Yourself. I don't think you need to use the word. I think you should just engage the mirror and ask yourself, what could I have done better? How could I attract better situation, a better outcome?
Not. Can it get you better outcomes? The people I want to work with are the people who understand they have a brand and they want to tweak it, or the ones that are getting their eyes or waking up saying, man, I didn't know I had a brand, but how can I use it to make me better? There's 20% of.
Yeah. Let me play this one last one, and then, I think in terms of painting a good picture of his legacy, I think I've done the best job ever. I think everybody else is cap that I've seen, every single person, and the ones that are crying on the screen without knowing him personally, all of them, all cap, all cap. They never got to the message. They're still struggling with the message. They're still struggling. This man has lived his life, he's moved on. He was not wrong. He was not wrong. Hopefully, he had his affairs in order and his family can be good for life. Hopefully. But I think all those people capping on YouTube is terrible. It's terrible. You're overreacting. You're looking for the next person that wants to drag Kevin instead of you to focus on yourself and focus on the good message. And if you really found value in him, why don't you paint more picture around his value? Not what he did for you. Not when he told you should do more live sessions, all that bullshit cap. Not him telling you to make more money. I'm talking about his message. What value did you get out of it? If you got any value, why don't you paint more picture around that? Why are you so over concerned about people that are celebrating uh, not receiving his message well? That's natural. People receive message how they receive message. I'm more concerned about you. Why are you still overreacting? This is a good sober moment right here that you can actually sober and say, tomorrow is not promised to anyone, but yet you get on the internet, you get on live and you start cursing. You start being disrespectful to your own kind. It speaks more about you. It speaks more about you. There's more. I could bet all kind of money. I know exactly the kind of person you are for talking like that, for talking reckless like that. Not the guy in particular, but anyone who has taken this route. Calm your butt down. Stop overreacting. Calm your ass down. Reflect. When there's life and death involved, you reflect. You don't jump on live and start doing live streams right away just to cloud chase. It's stupid. You look stupid. Oh my God. I mean, unless you're actually going to give a real eulogy and paint some good picture about the value that this man brings. If you're not going to do that, you shut up. Just shut up. If you don't have anything good to say, and if it's all about you, Cloud, just shut up. I mean, you have people calling his family live on live stream trying to verify if he's alive or not. It's terrible. Come on. We could do better. This space is going to get policed if we don't start doing better, because it's going to be harmful to people. And then the authorities, the powers that be, will come in and then will say, hey, we need to regulate. Is that really what you want? Because it's coming. I guarantee you. Let's play the last one.
Or take their image more seriously, because here's the thing. Whether you agree with me or not, like my presentation or channel or not, the world is a cruel place. The market decides, and no one's going to, if you don't look the part, you're not even going to get to the next level. You can see a woman, the woman of your dreams. If you aren't carrying yourself in a certain,
you could see the woman. I've been saying this forever. I actually missed that when I was first watching it. You could see the woman of your dreams. You're not going to be able to identify and recognize because you've painted everything red. The only thing you see is red. The same thing for women that think men are scums. The same thing. The same thing. But but the reaction to people who didn't like him is really scary. People are making threats, calling women names is pathetic. These are people that didn't know him personally, and they're pretending like they're actually doing him a favor, and it's painting more picture of the reality of who we are as people. We definitely need to do better. Definitely.
certain way, you're not going to even get to the point to where she can see what kind of great person you are. You're not going to get there. You can walk, you can be eminently qualified for a position. You could have all the credentials and it could be your turn, but
you could be right all you want. That's what he's talking about. You could be right all you want. Comes down to image. Your image. He didn't say how you talk, but it's part of it. I'm hiding that context. How you talk is your image. You don't get to turn around and say, we're just speaking the truth. That's bullshit. Okay? No. You're going to be judged for being brutal, not brutal honesty, because that honesty is your own version of honesty, and you're full of shit and you're operating from a place of ego. And life is not going to react properly according to that. It won't. It won't. That's just the reality.
if you do not look the part, you're not going to even get an opportunity. You know.
Yeah, that's that. You know, that's that right there. That man had a good message in that one video. Listen, I'm not gonna cap. When I first stumbled into the viral video, of course that didn't sit well with me, right? Of course not. Of course not. I'm not thinking, oh, he's just holding women. I kind of like, nah, you're painting an image for yourself, and this shit will haunt you one way or the other. The last thing anyone wants, any normal human being wants, is for him to pass away so young. That's the last thing. Like, nobody will ever want that for somebody's son. I think you've heard that enough now. It's time to calm down, right? Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. I think he started a great conversation. I think if he didn't start, this conversation will still eat us up inside. It was needed. It was needed. Shout out to this brother I just stumbled into, Obi, who is running the platform We Need to Talk. And he does a lot of series on Kevin Samuels started this conversation. I think it's a good thing that we're talking. I don't think he was trying to be a healer. I think he started the conversation. I think he did well for himself while we were at the conversation, having the conversation. I think it's good. I think it's a good thing that we're having the conversation. But I need you to start implementing. I need you to start implementing. Stop overreacting to how women react from being women. We need to face the reality of what's going on. The reality is the result, the outcome you've created as men. Am I blaming men for everything? Yes, if you're in the same breath, are you going to call yourself a leader of society? Yes. Yes. Okay? Why? Not because I hate you, because it's your best leverage point. I'm not asking you to be everything. That's where we conflict, I guess, sometimes. I'm saying, listen, it's actually easier than trying to answer every question. Just listen. Listen to yourself. Listen to other people. Be patient. It's a process. Listen. Stop calling listening pandering. You're shooting yourself on the legs. Because it won't work. It hasn't worked. It won't work. It will never work. We're moving in a different direction, in a new order. Clearly, we don't live in 1960. So you're not going to force that back here. It's not going to happen. Okay? You're not going to force that back here. Tawana, I think it's his core. He really wanted to help men. Yeah, he was consistent. I believe that too. I believe he had his own struggles. Clearly, we know the results. He was divorced twice. He actually said it a few times, right? And that's one of the reasons why I respect him. He's mentioned that he's divorced, as opposed to all these followers that forget to mention that they're divorced and they're advising from a very toxic place. He really wanted to help men. The men didn't receive him well, and he decided to change his target. Hey, it costs a lot of money, resources, time to put these videos out. Might as well just get paid, right? Especially if you're addressing certain women who have unrealistic entitlement and expectation. I don't think he would go viral if he wasn't as provocative. So I can't really judge him for that. But I understand if women are upset about that. That's the nature. That's the cost. That's why it's red. Everything that's worthwhile in life will cost. But you gentlemen that you're left here, the message is you should not be overreacting to that. You should see that as reality. As I guess we have more work to do. If we have a bunch of women on Twitter celebrating someone's passing away, that still goes back to us. Some men were responsible for bringing this woman to the world, right? So are women not responsible at all? That's not what I am saying. That's just simply not the conversation. You're asking the wrong question in the words of your godfather. I have a hard time calling him my godfather because, again, I wasn't really a fan like that. Because I didn't really see the point in listening to women being held accountable when there's a bunch of men celebrating that in the comments, calling names, toxic names. There are a bunch of men in that man's comments calling women names and stuff like that. Are we just gonna cap about that? I'm gonna leave that one. We're gonna moving on to the next one. Tawana, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Most people come here and watch rebroadcast later. I always appreciate everyone. We're still working hard so that we can keep growing the platform. I appreciate you, and I will expect your message. And shout out to everyone else that's watching me. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone for being here, either rebroadcast or live. We'll continue to work. Watch the videos, share, subscribe, all of that. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon. Bye now.